Thank you for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. Today we're going to talk about intention, talking about sending intentional messages into our children's lives. Do you know that we often send unintentional messages to people? We'll see someone go by and we'll do this. That's an unintentional message. So many times our faces say what we think or feel, and we don't even realize that that just happened. And especially in relationships with people, they'll say, "What? What's wrong with me?" And you don't even know that you gave them that look, or you don't know that you sent them an unintentional message. We send unintentional messages to our children every single day. Let me tell you a few that I've seen recently. I was in a restaurant and there was a mom. And she was very typically, I hate to say that, but it is pretty typical in these days, on her phone. And she's doing all this stuff. And her child's asking her, "Mom." And she said, "Just a minute." And she's going, "Mom, I said wait." And she's going, "Mom." And finally she got really upset and she said, "Can you tell that I'm busy?" So, what kind of unintentional messages do you think that she sent? A, whoever that person was, they're a lot more important than you. B, my time here, my personal time with my friend or my device or my website that I love or whatever, is more important to me than you. And you, no matter what you need to wait for me. Do you believe that that sends a message that you are really valuable to me? And what you need is really important to me? And what you want to talk to me about or what you want to ask to me is more important to me than whatever else it is that I'm doing? Let me tell you the ramifications of that. When a child needs our attention, and I realize our version of need as an adult and theirs are not just the same. Please don't misunderstand me. But when they need our attention and they ask for it, 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 they get discouraged. They begin to doubt their own value or their own worth because they receive their sense of worth or that their sense of value from their parents. If you don't talk to them or show them or demonstrate to them that in fact they are of great worth and they are of great value, they'll never believe that they are. I had a young man and he told me that a friend of his committed suicide on camera. There were about 7 or 8 kids that were on live with him when it happened. And he said to me, "You know, Miss Newby, I didn't even know what to do because there was nothing anyone could say to him that made him believe that his life was worth it." You remember we talked about putting down seeds and what they grow? If we are perpetually giving our child a message that you just aren't that important, that what you have to say to me is not my number one priority to listen, and if we do it over and over again, we are planting intentional or unintentional messages into their lives about their worth and their value. So I want to encourage you today to think about intentionally sending a message to your child that they are valuable and of great worth to you. How in the world does that happen? You know, it is so important because it happens often at an unconscious level. This is a principle that may require more change on your part than you could ever dream. So let me tell you what that meant. When my sons were young, I always used to say they had great radar. You know, back in those old days where the phone actually hung on the wall and you were tethered to it by a cord. I mean, wow, dude. Portable phones didn't even exist when my kids were little boys. And so I would be on the phone doing something, and at that very moment, my kids thought they needed me so badly. I frequently made decisions about what was going to happen long before it did, so I was prepared. So I can tell you it depended. If my sons are bugging me, I'm in the middle of a really critical conversation, I would say, please hold on a moment. I would cover up the phone and I would say to my children, you understand, this is an important conversation and I need to have it right now. I honestly will say to you, it will not last more than 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, I need you to behave. So my kids were learning to show respect for my time and my energy. And at the end of 10 minutes, I would say to the person on the phone, I told my sons that I would be on here for 10 minutes. I need to let you go. If it was more involved than that, I would say to them, I'll call you this afternoon when they're resting, but I would keep my word about those 10 minutes. So I demonstrated value to the person on the phone, but I also demonstrated value to my sons, that they were worth my time, they were worth my energy, and someone was not more important than them. But I will say this, at least half the time, I would be on the phone, just talking, how's the day going? What are you making for dinner tonight? Etc. One of my sons would come and say, Mama. And I'd say, just a moment, please. And I'd say, I'm really sorry, but I need to let you go. And I would say goodbye and hang up that phone. My sons knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that what they wanted to say to me or my attention was important enough, I was going to give it to them. Are you listening to your kids? If you're at a meal and you don't shut that phone off, you don't put that phone away, I really want you to understand your kids are not going to be talking to you. They can't compete. They just cannot. So if a couple times a week you aren't sitting down to a meal with your kids, you're not having a conversation and actively listening to them, A, they don't learn how to be a conversationalist. B, they don't understand the give and take socially of what a regular interaction looks like. Because it isn't, okay, I've got 50 seconds and I better make it fast. And I'm going to dump it all on you. And now, okay, great, that was communication. That's not a good message. So when you sit at a meal with a child and there's give and take and you ask them how their day was and you talk to your spouse about how your day was and there is interaction, they understand they're valuable. They understand that person is valuable. They understand what they have to say is important. What you have to say is important. I need to be patient and wait for you. You are going to be patient and wait for me. Okay. Now, we need to accept people's limitations with grace. Do you understand a 3-year-old? A 3-year-old. They are not in a position to wait very long. Mom, I really got to go. Mom, I really got to go. Mom, I got to go. If you're giving them well, just wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Hold on a minute. And they stand there and wet their pants, and then you're mad at them because they wet their pants? Because you don't want to own up to yourself the responsibility that if I would have responded when they first asked me this, that wouldn't have happened. Oh, and I would have shown them that what they needed, and I mean genuinely needed, was so much more important than anything else that was going on. I can honestly say to you, I've abandoned an entire cart of groceries before, a full cart of 2 weeks worth of groceries when my sons were little, and something came up and my son said, Mom, I mean right now. And I went and took care of it. So what is more important than your child? I don't mean by what you say, I mean by how you live. What is more important than your child? I want to talk to you about a message that's really challenging that I'm not sure a lot of parents get. Parents will go, oh, I take you to music lessons. I've been taking you to horseback riding lessons. I have you in gymnastics. You're going to dance. You're in baseball. You're in soccer. You're in basketball. Do you have any idea how much money this cost me? And they actually think that the message they're giving their child is, you are valuable to me because I'm spending all this cash. That's not really the message. The message is, you need to be busy every single solitary moment of your life, almost to justify your existence. And you need to have a really, awesome attitude and really excel at this because I'm spending hard cash on this for you. I wonder if you ever sat with your kid and said, So we're doing all these things, and 6 days a week we're gone away from home. How do you feel about that? And really listen to them. What if they said, Mom, I don't really like gymnastics. I don't even want to play baseball this year. Can you hear that message? Dad, I mean, seriously, Dad, I am over this whole go to soccer, go to basketball, go to football. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't even like sports much. I can honestly say to you, I have a friend whose son was like that. He was in all these things because that's what his dad expected. And then when he was about 16 years old, he said, Dad, I don't want to do this stuff anymore. I actually want to go to art school. Yeah, that pretty much freaked his dad out. You know what? If you're going to tell your kids with great intention that they are valuable, you probably need to sit with them and listen to them, talk to them, spend time with them, hang out with them. If most of your life is spent A, just dealing with the kids, and then when your husband gets home, you go, take over these kids, I've had enough. Do you think your kids didn't hear you say that? So instead of communicating the message to them that you are my absolute all time favorite people on the face of the earth, I love you, I have such a great time when we're together. I'm a little tired because it was a really hard day. So I'm going to take a 15-minute break since your dad is home and just kind of go in my room and regroup my thoughts. But wow, I'm really excited to have dinner together and spend the evening with you. See how different those two messages are? Or if you're a dad and you worked hard all day, and I grant you, some jobs are really stressful, and you come home, you're like, don't tell me that I need to deal with the kids and don't put all this in my hair. I can't even handle this. You take care of this. I'm going to go down to my man cave. Wow. So, did you ever think about what message that just gave to your kids? Because how about, I had a really tough, difficult, challenging day. I did, and I need a little bit of time. I really love you. I'm really excited to be with you. And very soon, I'm going to get my head on straight and I'll be back with you and we'll go outside and we'll play catch for a while. We'll have a really nice meal together. We'll sit down and read. I just want you to think intentionally about the messages that you're putting into your child's life. Here's something that you have to know. When we accept our child's limitations with grace, we tell them it is really okay to be human, and even with your faults and frailties, you are valuable to me. But you know what? We cannot give what we do not have. If you struggle to accept your own limitations and human imperfections, if you don't have much grace, much patience, much kindness with your own self, in other words, you're your own worst critic and you're very harsh internally, you do better than that. What do you think you were doing? Then one of the things that you need to start with intention is even being kinder to yourself. So today I challenge you. What are the intentional and unintentional messages that you are sending to your child? I didn't say write them all down, just put the question in your book. And as they come up this week, start writing them down fearlessly. Because it is only as we fearlessly look at ourselves and where we're doing great and where we're doing badly that we actually have the possibility of change. So, what messages are you sending your child? I really want you to go find them, put your arm around them, tell them that they are special and wonderful and really important to you, and then demonstrate that to them throughout the rest of this day. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button. Have a great day with your children. Thank you for joining me.